to you by Manly Bands. Normally I wear sleeves on the podcast, but until the Browns act like a professional sports franchise, I'm not going to act like a professional podcaster. I'm going no sleeves here.
Suns
What
out,
is a
guns
professional podcaster?
Theo Vaughn.
He's not professional, bro.
But I was like, last week I wore an Indian sweater because we clinched the playoffs, and we got Cavs season to look forward to right around the corner. So I guess I'm going to bust out the Cavs jersey tonight because the Browns just aren't doing anything worth celebrating at this moment in my life. So obviously another tough loss for the Browns today. I feel like we've been saying that a lot for the last long time. Basically, what year is it? So we've been saying it for 30 years now. But this was another one of those games where if you look at the stat sheet, if you watch the game, you thought Browns won, and then it says we won everywhere except for the win-loss column. There's a big fat L there. So we're going to get into why that happened, what went wrong for the Browns, get to your guys' voicemails, all that good stuff. Before we do, though, if you want to leave a voicemail on a future episode, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. If you're watching on YouTube, just please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. You can just listen to the show on Apple and Spotify, and you can find extra Browns content at jointhedogs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member. You want to be there on game days in the private Discord. That's where everything fun happens. Kenny Mack was actually at the game with one of our Discord members today over in London. So like this thing's global, man. We had our Canadian follower hanging out with our UK follower.
Yeah,
it was pretty awesome. So you get to play fantasy football with us. You get to meet all these Browns fans from all over the world and just talk to them all the time. It's a super cool group. We got ladies in there, obviously tons of dudes, Browns fans, vets. Like, it's just a good time. So if that's something you want a good Browns community to be involved in, especially if you're not local to Cleveland, you're somewhere else, and you don't have anybody to talk Browns with, 24/7, the Dog Pack is where you want to be. So that's jointhedogs.com to become an official Dog Pack member. I feel like I forgot something in the opening, but whatever. So here we are. Another tough game for the Browns. I know I have so many thoughts about this game because it's like it's tough to, at least from my perspective, you look at the score, you watch the game, and it's tough to say defense cost us this game. They only gave up 21 points. They forced turnovers. And then at the same time, if you would have told me that the Browns were going to have their defense on the field with 2 minutes left, with Carson Wentz, at the 20, wherever it was, with Carson Wentz has to go 80 yards, and they have 3 backup offensive linemen, I would have Browns win. That's going to be a Browns victory. And then they let them go right down the field and score a touchdown. And I was messaging in the Discord today, and I'm like, you don't get to call yourself elite. You don't get to be, talk the talk about being best in the world, best. And then when the moment comes, like that's what if you're truly the elite defense, you want that moment, to go out and prove to yourself, to everybody, you're the number one defense in the league. And then you let a backup quarterback with 3 backup offensive linemen. It looked like you weren't even out there. I mean, they just went right down the field, scored a touchdown to take the lead with 20 seconds to go. So like it's just so hard to wrap. How are you upset with a defense that only gave up 21 points? Well, it's because I watched the Steelers defense win games for the Steelers in this exact situation time after time after time after time my entire life. It's like they want that. They take it on. They're like, we're this team's elite unit. We're going to win football games for this team. Put it on us. We'll shoulder the load, and we're going to go out there and we're going to seal victories for the team. And it's like our defense is a little bit of front runners, where when we're getting the sacks early and we're shutting them down, everything's great. But if, the offense isn't scoring a ton of points, all of a sudden you see our defense just start to give up. If, somehow our offense does score points, how many times we've talked about this year, the offense finally gets a spark, and then it's like the very next drive, the defense forgets how to play, and it's just like, it's so infuriating because what to expect out of the Browns offense. The Browns offense is not good, and it's not going to be good for this season. So, as the defense, you got to it's going to be on you to go out there and steal victories. So it's just tough. It's tough because the defense obviously played great for, again, 97% of the game.
Dude, it in like true Cleveland Browns fashion, just no lead is ever safe, you know? And like in the pit of your stomach, you'll always feel a little bit of sick because you know that there's a chance we can blow it. The secondary was awful today. And I don't want to like jab at players or anything like that because I do love this team, but man, Greg Newsome was not good today. He was a liability. I mean, Denzel Ward gives up pretty much a game-sealing touchdown where I don't know if there's miscommunication in the back again. Like it's back to whoever that garbage defensive coordinator. Joe Woods. I can't even think of his name. It sucks. It just sucks. And you watch the game, and for 2 hours and 45 minutes, you're like, man, I'm having a good time. And then you're sick at the end. I told Josh before you got on, man, I thought the defense kind of just no-showed in the first quarter and kind of figured it out and like kind of got some things going right. And then kind of just no-showed again in the fourth quarter. They struggled to stop the run. We got gashed up the middle pretty much all day. Jefferson is a great player, but everybody knows that Justin Jefferson is a good player. Like, he should be highlighted every time. It's frustrating. We found a way to lose the game.
This game, up until 7 minutes to go, because I kind of went back and I rewatched the last 7 minutes because, it happened this morning, and then the afternoon I'm watching these other games. I'm like, man, I just want to go back and see again. Browns have the 7 minutes to go. We punt the ball, and we fail to down it at the 1 yard line because Sunahara's toe is on the line.
It's the ball second worst rule in football, by the way. Second worst rule in football, other than fumbling out of the back of the end zone. Why is it your toe? But like for everything else, it's the ball.
It's the ball. Yeah, it makes no sense. No sense at all. So the Vikings then, now things start to go our way. They proceed to burn 3.5 minutes off the clock just to gain -1 yard in that time span. Then they have to punt back to us. It's like, wow, we just shut them down. We get the ball back with 3:27 on a great return by Gage Larvadan, gets it out to the 41. We do a 0 yard run at 3:24. Then they call timeout. Then a -1 yard run, 3:19 to go. And then an incomplete pass to I don't know who.
It was Bond.
So that stops the clock. 3:16, we punt at 3:05. So we got the ball at 3:27, went -1 yard and gave it right back to them, 12 or 22 seconds later. And then that was it. After that, they went down the field, and we can talk about the timeout situation, and yeah.
I'll tell you, I was thinking about this when I was watching this game, and like the offense was slowly, like throughout the game, you could tell like they were running out of things. Like we were okay, we were moving the ball a little bit, and then like by the time we got to the fourth quarter, it's just like we couldn't do anything. And it reminded me, when I coached, I used to call plays, and there was one year where my team was not very good, but we had a good running back. Okay, he was a little bit bigger and stronger than the everybody else on our team. He was pretty solid, and we would come out in a game, and we had like a play where we ran. It was like the one play we ran pretty well. We gave it to this running back, and we would catch teams off guard with this play in the first quarter. Maybe we'd run like a 7-play drive, and we'd go down and score. And you were thinking, look at this offense. Here we go. We're doing some things. And then it took the other team about 2 drives to realize, oh man, this is the only play and the only kid they got. If we just shut this kid down, there's not really anything else we can do. And then all of a sudden they would just key on that guy and key on that formation. And all of a sudden now them doing that, tons of things should be open, right? But our team wasn't very good. Didn't have a good quarterback. Couldn't get it to receivers. Receivers run a wrong route. And next thing you know, for quarters 3 through 4 or 2 through 4, couldn't do anything. We wouldn't score again the rest of the game, even though the first quarter we'd go 8 plays right down the field, score a touchdown. And that's what it just reminded me of that. Like, we don't have that good of players. And once the other team figures out like, oh, Quinshaw Judkins is literally all they have, there isn't a play sheet big enough. If you just don't have like some people, I'm not saying like everything we do in the coaching department is perfect, but I think some people value what coaching can do with a terrible roster. Like I don't care who you are. If your roster is just super, super bad, there's nothing a coach can do. And offensively, our roster is super, super bad. So the fact that we're only getting, of course, we're only getting 17 points. Look who we're throwing to. Look who is playing left tackle. I should go up to Berea tomorrow and see if I can play left tackle this week, because I can't be much worse than Levinson. I thought James Hudson was the worst offensive lineman I'd ever watched play. He might block circles around Leviston. It completely kills your offense. You can't do anything. People wanted to see the offense get creative. We can't do a 5-step drop. It'll be a sack every single time.
Well, we can't, and that lends to the next thing here. We can't throw the ball past 10 yards.
Oh my God.
Every 10, and if it's 10 or more yards down the field, it's like probably like a 1 in 10 gets completed, or even close. And yeah, Dylan Gabriel, I thought, I mean, we can talk about him too, like separately, but overall, I thought he played a good game. I thought he managed the game well. I thought he did exactly what Kevin and the Browns offense needed him to do to keep us in it. He didn't turn the ball over. You know, he took what the defense was giving him. But man, if he tried to go past 10 yards, it was like, whoa, that did not look good. But neither did Joe Flacco. And I think this offense is just not built for it. If we can't run the ball or throw the ball within 10 yards, we're screwed.
A huge part, we get no separation. We throw to Fannin. If we didn't have Fannin and Njoku, we wouldn't complete a pass. And part of it is you finally do get a wide receiver, you're number one, wide open, and kind of a big moment early in the game, and goes right through his hands. I've seen Jerry Jeudy. I'm about ready to just be like, be gone. Be gone. And that's our number one. Like, that's the point I keep trying to drive home. This guy would be a low end 2 or 3 on every other team in this league outside of maybe Tennessee. And we're trotting him out there as our number 1. Jamari Thrash and Isaiah Bond were the number 2 today. I didn't even see Jamari Thrash.
His last drive. He caught the last pass. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then we're relying on, like, people are like, well, the rookies look good. Isaiah Bond wasn't even on this team a month ago. and Quinshaw Judkins wasn't on this team week 1. So, like, we're depending on rookies who've been here 3 to 4 weeks, 2 out of the 3 of them. Dylan Gabriel in his first start against a defensive coordinator who never loses to rookie quarterbacks. And it's just like, that's why the offense was as basically what you could expect. That was as good as you're probably going to get out of the offense in today's game. That's why I'm so frustrated when the defense has a chance to go out and seal the win for you. They just let them march right down the field.
Yeah, man. It was very frustrating watching that game. But I don't know about you guys, and you guys in the chat, let us know. I've kind of been keeping an eye on what people have been saying. You guys keep it popping over there, by the way. You're doing good work. Who else felt like, as that game was winding down in the fourth quarter, like, I think we're going to find a way to blow this? Like, I was just waiting for it. I'm like, I've seen this movie so many times. I know this team very well. And this is exactly, and then they start showing the stat, like the graphic on there, how KOC, Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings, is like 26-10 in one-score situations or whatever. I'm like, oh, he's about to be 27-10. I know it's happening.
Most comeback wins ever in NFL history. I'm like, oh, there's another good one. This is,
Oh, and Flores, Brian Flores is
10-1,
undefeated against rookie quarterbacks. I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence way back. Yeah. 21 or something, yeah.
So good. I'm seeing some people in here talking about how conservative Kevin went as the game went on. And I agree, but put yourself in the coach's shoes. Would you not? You have the number 1 defense. You have your rookie quarterback on the road in London playing his first ever game against the guy who doesn't ever lose to rookie quarterbacks. If Dylan Gabriel throws a fourth quarter interception, could you imagine what people would be saying? All we'd be hearing is, run the damn ball, Kevin. That's all anybody would be saying if we had Dylan Gabriel in the fourth quarter throwing around passes and he would have thrown a turnover and we would have lost. There's just no making, like, of course you're going to go conservative. You're going to put it on the back of the best unit you have. Like, that's the only way to win. That's the only way chance the Browns have to win.
I did see somebody make a good point. I forget who it was on Twitter, and they said, like, the Browns got to a point where Kevin was playing not to lose, but we lose anyway. So it is almost counterproductive. I get what you're saying. I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, the situation was not ideal. We were talking about it before you got on here. This is top 3 pass defense in Minnesota. And we knew that coming in, it was going to be tough.
With a dude.
Quinshot Judkins was running the ball as well as he was. Could you imagine if we stopped running it with him and told Dylan Gabriel to go out and just start throwing the ball 10 times in the fourth quarter? Everybody, all the people who are calling for Kevin's head would just be calling for Kevin's head for a different reason.
It'd just be nice if they wouldn't have been holding so much, and maybe Quinshot could have had, a touchdown, 175 yards in this game. I mean, the dude was insane.
He is
great.
There are bright spots to this team. Like I hammer home how depleted the offensive roster is, but Fannin is a dude. Judkins is a dude. Dylan Sampson's got to figure out pass blocking apparently because he can't hardly get on the field since week 1. Dylan Gabriel at least looked. I don't know how I feel about Dylan. Like to me he looked like a serviceable, like okay quarterback. I'm not going to judge him off the first game of his career against a defense like this, but I also didn't see like there's nothing wow, but again, it's how wow can you be when your number 1 wide receiver is Jerry Jeudy and you have to throw checkdowns to your tight ends all day because nobody's open and you can't there's no blocking in front of you. So I thought he at least did enough to show me. I'm happy they made the switch and I wish they would have done it 3 weeks ago.
That's where I'm at. I thought it was a breath of fresh air compared to what we've seen the first month of the season. At least this dude has some mobility. He can get out of get out of the pocket. He can scramble a little bit. I mean, this was a tough defense. He's got the mobility. I'd like to see him kind of get like bootlegged out a little bit. Wasn't that the bread and butter? We don't ever see that. He can actually run. Get him out in space. Let him. The last couple throws, I'm like, the dude can throw the ball. He can. I mean, let him at least cook just a little bit. Do we get so conservative? I'm so tired of this 2-yard.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm just tired of that. And at least Njoku kind of had a reemergence today. Like he showed up big time. I didn't even know for sure if he was still on our roster the first month.
I know. I was thinking early on today, like maybe they ought to just, and maybe they're thinking about trading David because he's not involved. He's not involved. He's not doing anything here. We're not winning any games this year. What's the point in keeping him around? I mean, I'm thinking business like from the Browns perspective, but yeah, he had a great game. The one play with Dylan that I was like, now there's a big difference between him and Joe. There was a play, it might have been in the 3rd or 4th quarter, I can't remember, and it looked like the entire pocket just collapsed, like he was done. I'm like, oh, that's a sack, and all of a sudden he's 10 yards upfield. Like, oh, he just squirted right out the front of that, all the pressure and took off for a big gain. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's what we need our quarterback to be able to do, especially with this offensive line. But I'm with you, Justin. Like, roll him out. If you can't get to a 5-step drop behind this offensive line to let anything develop downfield, play action, roll him out to where there's a little more time, and maybe we can connect on something past 10 yards because this dink and dunk stuff is getting old.
I can't give Kevin Stefanski a pass, especially when the Vikings head coach was working with a 3rd-string QB and 60% of his OL was missing. No, he was a backup QB. It was Carson Wentz, who played like an MVP not that long ago, and he also has Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson. We don't have anything close to that. And
it's still on the defense, though, man. Like we should have been teeing off.
That's what I was the point I was going to make. Like I expected that. I know they have T.J. Hawkinson and Jordan Mason and Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. I didn't expect them to really be a factor because they had 3 offensive linemen out. I thought this was going to look like Bengals week 1 2 seasons ago, where like they just literally couldn't get a playoff. The pressure was just in this dude's face so fast that there was just nothing they could do. That's the way I expected this game to go. And our defense looked lost. And so many people like to crap on Kevin. But I feel like Jim Schwartz gets a pass on so much. And every time we face an offense like that's helmed by like a Kevin O'Connell or a Slowick in Houston or just like anybody, or Steichen in Indianapolis, the defense gets shredded. You know what I mean? Like he gets a pass on this. Everybody just likes to dump on Kevin, and they'll praise Jim Schwartz anytime the defense plays well. But anytime we play anybody who has like athletes or they have like a young creative offensive coach, the defense doesn't hold up.
Well, we got a voicemail to play about this too, but just to kind of pre into that, like how much of that is credit to KOC on the other side of the ball scheming against our defense appropriately to get those things open? I mean, whatever game plan they cooked up this week, it worked. It worked for them.
For sure. Do we want to take our first commercial, then we'll come back and knock out some of these voicemails?
Yep, let's do that. This episode is sponsored by Manly Bands. Browns fans, it's time to kick off the NFL season, and it's also time for you to kick off your wedding band game. Head to manlybands.com right now for their fall wedding sale. Get 30% off site-wide, plus use promo code CAMP25, CAMP25, to get an extra $25 off your order. Manly Bands has the most unique, handcrafted wedding bands for men, and they've got a huge selection, so many different styles, materials, and collections to choose from. Plus, they've got manly gifts for any situation you need, whether you're getting married and you need groomsmen gifts. They've got barware, they've got chains, bracelets, they've got gifts for retirement, and they've got your everyday stuff like lighters and coffee mugs. They've even got ear pods and some pretty cool t-shirts as well. So dive into football season this fall. Head to manlybands.com, 30% off with the fall wedding sale, and get an extra $25 off your order with promo code CAMP25. That's manlybands.com/dogs.
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, AlumaGuard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
All right, welcome back. Appreciate everybody who stuck around. Do we just want to jump right into our first voicemail?
Yep. First one here's from Andy.
What's up, Dog Pack? Andy Kaiser here. What a disappointing loss. And I've never done one of these before, so I'll just go to what I know, which is the shit sandwich. And so I'll start off with the good. I thought that Dylan Gabriel performed well for his first start as a rookie, for sure. Kevin Stefanski didn't seem to baby him and ease him in. And he looked to know the offense and that he's competent. And now the shit part of the sandwich is I think that Kevin Stefanski is terrible at scheming. You can blame the weapons that we have as much as you want. I don't feel like that's what it is. What I feel like is the scheme. Week after week, we just see. I think you can, as a good case point, you can look at the Vikings, and I kept seeing in the Discord that how are we not getting sacks on Carson Wentz when they have backup line? And it's honestly because they knew how to scheme against our defense, and we don't do that. Kevin Stefanski has terrible scheme, and then he goes and just mismanages the game. Now, what was good to complete the shit sandwich is, we're all still here. We're fans. We love each other. And, that's, we would just have to be good with that. So, see ya.
Kumbaya, mother.
Andy Kaiser. Me and Andy took a lot of fun art classes together in high school. So I'm going to say I have been a person in the past who has wanted the offense to get more creative. I was all on board for getting rid of Alex Van Pelt. I did not want Ken Dorsey, but I was hoping in this offseason that like Mike McDaniel would have been fired and we could have brought him in as an offensive coordinator, because I obviously want some more pre-snap motion and all that good stuff, but I don't think Kevin's scheme is just terrible. We've been over this even going back to when Odell was here with Baker. Dudes are open all the time. There's literally dudes just running around wide open. We've either had a quarterback that can't hit them. Now I don't think anybody's open because it's a lot easier to scheme guys open when your guys are Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Justin Jefferson, as opposed to Jerry Jeudy, Jamari Thrash, and Isaiah Bond. Like my call to this is, and I've said this multiple times, everybody here and everybody around the league thinks Shane Steichen is a very good offensive coach. He had the exact same team last year as he does this year. The only difference is a quarterback. And last year they were awful, couldn't score, couldn't do anything, almost got fired. They got in one competent quarterback and all of a sudden their offense looks amazing, and they're 4-1. They dominated today. Like, you have to have good players in order to be good. Good coaching is only going to get you so far. A coach is not going to elevate. This is an F roster on the offensive side of the ball. It's an F roster. It's the Titans and us. By far, there's nobody is bad. You're not going to get production. There isn't a coach in the world that would come to this team and make this offense good. There isn't one, because I'm watching other good offensive coaches in this league not be good with way better players. Better players.
Let me ask you guys something. You brought up a name there. Mike. He's probably getting fired at the end of the year. Might not even be by the end of the year. Would you be interested in bringing him in? Do you think that he would be able to do something with this offense? Or you're saying just forever we're just screwed until we figure the talent out?
I would bring him. I would bring him in. I wanted to bring him in this year, but to say like that the reason this offense sucks is because Kevin's scheme just doesn't make any sense to me. We've seen this scheme be good when it had better players, and I'm not talking about like all world players. I'm just talking about like a competent level of QB play and an offensive line that can block. Still no good wide receivers. Like Rashard Higgins was out. Rashard Higgins couldn't play on any other team, and we loved him here in Cleveland because this offense made him look productive.
I think that, and I feel like this is the sentiment I get from a lot of fans, though, is like, and I was telling Justin this earlier, I get the feeling with Kevin sometimes like it's my way or the highway. Like, we're going to run my offense. It's either going to work or it's not. And I get what Andy's saying about he doesn't necessarily scheme to take advantage of what your opponent's weaknesses are. And I think that's the problem a lot of people have. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the poll from Garrett Bush last week, but I think this might be interesting. And you guys in the chat, let's play a game here. Drop it in the chat, and I'll ask you guys. And let's go Justin first. If you were in charge, you're the GM of an NFL team, and you got your head coach, you got your D coordinator, but your offensive coordinator either fire them or they go take another job, and Kevin Stefanski is available. Are you bringing in Kevin Stefanski to be your offensive coordinator, to run your offense?
I don't know if I am, but he would be hired. He would be hired.
That's not what I'm asking. Would you take him to run your team?
I guess it depends on the personnel. Like if you've got, I'm just saying, saying if you've got a guy. The thing that like is frustrating with me is I feel like we went away from what Kevin Stefanski was good at. You know what I mean? Like
that means he went away from what he did. That's on him.
And that's what I'm saying. Some of the
we
things
didn't go away from anything. We don't. Our offensive roster is the worst in football.
I know, and he was part of that.
No, he's not the GM. Blame the GM.
They make all their decisions together.
Okay.
You tell me he has no say in personnel?
He might have some say in the personnel, but at the end of the day, the GM is the one. I've never met.
And fire Barry. Get rid of Barry too.
That's what I said. You're blaming a head coach for a team that is rolling out Leviston at left tackle right now.
Hey man,
Leviston.
It starts at the top.
Your wide receiver.
He's the only head coach in the NFL who cannot get blamed for being this bad.
I'm not saying he gets no blame. I'm not saying he gets no blame. I just said
what do you blame him for?
Obviously, like there's more creativity you can add to the offense, but you have to be realistic. We've seen this guy be good when he doesn't have the worst players in the league.
Let's take the offense out though. What about blowing close games like this? Good coaches, good coached teams, well-prepared teams win these games. They don't lose them.
Well, was the defense? Did we not have the lead with 3 minutes to go?
We did. We should have won
with our best unit on the field. Sometimes the players has to play.
I agree.
What's Kevin Stefanski supposed to do? He gave his team the lead.
By all means, go call timeout for the Minnesota Vikings.
He didn't call the first timeout until they were in field goal range.
Why call the timeout?
So you have time. If he doesn't call the timeouts, they run it down to nothing and score. We don't even have a chance.
Well, that means you're counting on them to score. They scored anyway.
Yeah,
make them use all the time. Because then, if you're rushing,
if they scored anyway, so you're saying you would have rather
they wouldn't make their game plan.
You're saying you would have rather have let them eat up the whole clock and score a touchdown
because they did it anyway. They did it anyway.
Yes, and because we took the timeouts, we had 20 seconds to go score.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go score in 20 seconds.
So you're gonna sit here with a straight face right now and argue with me that it would have been better to let them score with a walk-off than to
give us the ball.
It's never
better to let them score. It's better to make them go out there and run hurry up offense, try to get the ball out of bounds. If they don't get out of bounds, they have to run up, try to spike
There
it,
was
you lose
3
it down.
minutes. There was 3
No,
2
no, no.
minutes. They had plenty of time. They had a 2-minute warning and a timeout. Teams.
You're not
we
thinking
watched
the
a
right
team.
time.
We watched a team go down the score in 13 seconds 2 years ago in a playoff game.
I will say, but let me throw something.
Once they
in
got
here.
once they got into field goal range, you had to start taking your timeouts to try to preserve clock for when you got the ball back.
Dude, it was going to be a tie game
Even
to
the
go to overtime.
even the announcer said that. They took the
give a shit
first
what
one,
the
and the
announcers
announcers
say.
and the announcers were like, "This is about conserving time now." Like he didn't call. It's not like he called it on their first down play when they still had 80 yards to go. Once they got into field goal range, it's like, okay, I have to save some time so we have a chance to go win this game at the end.
Yeah, it worked out real well.
Oh my God, hindsight's
let me-
2020. Monday morning quarterback over here.
What about hear me out on this. What about even the previous drive where it's third down and we just throw it out of bounds and we give them a free timeout?
Terrible.
Why I'm not saying that we have to run the ball and be predictable, but at least make them use that last timeout. And then they only have the 2-minute warning. It's confusing.
Well, he didn't tell him to throw it out of bounds.
It was a terrible play.
I
told
would hope-
Justin, it should have been a run, or it should have been if you're going to throw, do a play action screen or something. I saw the Broncos run the same thing in their game against the Eagles. It's like, dude, this doesn't have to be so hard. What are we can't throw the ball 10 yards down the field all game. We're going to do it now.
I'm just saying the entire chat's talked about how conservative he went in the fourth quarter, and now we're talking about how he shouldn't have thrown the ball. That's all I'm saying. There's just no winning. If he would have,
There is no winning.
If he would have, yeah, but we knew that. We all expected to be 0-8.
But that doesn't
make
make him a good coach just because we knew we were going to be bad.
No, what makes him a good coach is anytime he's had even adequate talent, we've gone to the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see when that happens again.
He's been in the playoffs 40% of his career.
Okay. I mean, if that's cool.
I'm just saying, like we're using like this year as the benchmark to say we should fire the coach when we knew we weren't going to be good this year.
I'm just saying, man, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a while.
I don't think that we're using
like
this
one
year.
off season. We're like one off season away from being good.
I hope so, but I just don't. I don't see it that way.
I don't. Yeah, but why?
You see this? You just talked about how bad this roster is on offense.
Yeah,
Do you think
we
they're going to
have-
fix the entire thing in one offseason? And
You
you
need
think by the
linemen
time
and
we
a
get it
receiver.
fixed, the defense is still going to be this good? No.
You need a lineman and a receiver. If we just
A
knocked
lineman?
out one. We just knocked out. I said we need linemen and a receiver.
Okay.
We just knocked out a draft where we got all these starters. You need one more good free agency, one more good draft, and all of a sudden you're right in the mix of things.
But remember what I said earlier today. The 2024 draft, 0 players from that draft are contributing on the field to the team.
Once again, who drafts players?
Andrew Berry.
So I just think there's so I
But I'm
feel like there's so much skating. Like Andrew Berry just gets. He's
He
the
doesn't
one
get.
who
I want
assembled
him gone too. I'm done with
He's
him.
the one who
I'm tired
assembled
of
the
it.
roster. He's the one who assembled the roster, and we're blaming the guy who. You guys have never even called. You don't call plays. What plays would you call?
I just told you what I would have done in that situation.
It's easy to. Okay, that you think if we would have thrown a screen
You
pass, we
just
would have
asked
won?
me and I answered yes. So I mean, what do you want?
I'm just saying. There's nothing any coach would do with this offensive roster.
Okay,
Fire him right now. I watch the Chiefs not be able to score. They have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
They're still winning games.
They have one more win than us.
Yeah, we're pretty
have
lucky.
one
we
more
blocked
win
that
than
field
us.
goal.
Huh?
We're lucky we blocked that field goal against the Packers, or it'd be 0-5.
Well, the Bengals are lucky that we missed a field goal, or we'd have 2 wins. Like
True.
you can't.
I-
It's not
I-
ifs and nuts.
I think that the frustration comes is we're in every one of these games. It feels like we're in every one of the games, and then it always just kind of is the same.
And then the team
song
that
and
has
dance.
better players pulls it out in the end. You're right.
But then how did we win the Green Bay game if they have all the better players? You know what I mean?
Because sometimes
If it works like that.
our
Sometimes it
defense
goes your
stepped
way.
up. Sometimes the defense steps up and they made a play. Our best unit played out of their minds that game.
I just know we've been having the offensive debate every year he's been here. Now, some years have been better. Yes,
We're
we have.
2
Some
years
years have
removed
been
from
better than
winning 11
others.
games.
Every year, there are people that complain about the play calling, complain about the situational decisions.
Yeah, but you were never one of them.
No, not until recently.
That's my argument is you always defended him, and then you're going to use this year. The year
No,
where
I'm
it's
using the last
worst
2 years.
team.
We are 4-20 since the last time we won two. We haven't scored over 17 in the last 10 straight games. This
I
team
get that.
sucks, and he's the
Yes,
head
but
coach. I'm putting it on him. I'm putting it on
But
him.
it's not because of coaching.
Then I guess we don't need a coach.
It's not, again, you've never coached anything in your life. How would you know anything?
Okay. Can we talk about the game instead of this
I'm
personal
just
direct?
saying. Like there's no you there's you does how big's your play sheet to call for a play to Jamari Thrash? The Ravens are 1-5. They have Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, Kyle Hamilton, Roshan Smith. John Harbaugh must be a bad coach too. I'm just saying.
Let's keep talking about the game.
Like, let's go to the second voicemail.
Well, they don't get much better.
Hey, y'all, it's Mick from San Diego. I thought that waking up at 6 a.m. West Coast time would mean we would win, but I guess not. Gabriel's first start, I think it went pretty well. I also think that we kind of were very conservative with the play calling. We were real safe. He made good decisions, but I think if Kevin could replay the last 3 minutes of the game, he would. Going for that pass on third down, should have run the ball, forced them to call a timeout and or let the play clock run, and then burning all our timeouts. Yes, I understand that we wanted to possibly get our time back, but every time we called the timeout, we allowed their team to get some rest, so I would have much rather kept the timeouts and gone from there. Rookies are playing well. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Hopefully we can get some wins here. All right, go Browns. Ooh.
I appreciate the hoo-hoo at the end.
Half-hearted, but it's still there.
No, the rookies are like the only bright spot of this team. It's like if we didn't have them, it would be a dark day. Because Quinshaw Judkins is very good. It would have sure been nice to have him in week 1. Like, because we probably have 2 wins if we do. We're not relying on Andre Schmidt to kick a field goal because Quinshaw Judkins would have had 200 yards rushing. So that's frustrating. But no, it's just it's going to be every game is going to be the exact same this year. Every single game is going to be the exact same. Like, we're going to struggle to score, and we're going to have to hope the defense plays well. That's just the story of this Browns season.
The nice thing is Judkins looks like, I know everybody loves Nick Chubb. You know, I'm not trying to like displace Nick Chubb, but the things that Nick Chubb did for this offense, Judkins looks like he can do that for us very well. And I said this in my recap video earlier, just real quick on like TikTok. If anybody's still worried about like his breakaway speed or anything like that, he put that to bed today. That dude can break away and he can take it to the house.
Yep. We're a Fannin and a Bond hold away from that dude being like $160 and 2 touchdowns and with a crap offensive line.
Could you
imagine if they put pieces around it?
If we could block, that's what I said. If we retool the offensive line just a little bit, like add 2 serviceable tackles. Well, what's Quinshaw Judkins? He's gonna be a top 5 back.
Yeah,
and I think they could get him more involved in the passing game too. They used the one screen pass to him, like they got him in his hands, and he just goes north immediately, hard. I mean, he's running hard. I think this guy's got a huge ceiling.
And we talked about it earlier. Just the fact that he's able to come in and be so reliable, it makes Jerome Ford look reliable today. Jerome Ford, like you said, came in for 5-6 snaps, looked good. Just ran north and south, looked good, was productive.
That's right. And we talked about how like having Judkins, the big bruising back to wear down that defense, helps a guy like Jerome Ford, who's not efficient, who's not the big bruising back, to come in and actually have a little bit of success.
I said Ford's good for his 4 to 6 plays, touches. Just don't give him a 7th touch because it's going to be a 3-yard loss. It says there's a comment here that says Jerome Ford should not be on the field for an entire series. I wholeheartedly agree. I just think they're in a little bit of a pinch right now in terms, especially like a 2-minute drill where he's by far probably the best pass blocker in terms of what the running backs. And when you're in that 2-minute drill situation, Dylan Sampson, I don't believe, is a very good pass blocker right now. Quinshon Judkins is probably pretty decent at pass blocking, but he hasn't been here a super long time. He missed all of the offseason. So when you're in that 2-minute drive and communication is key and knowing your pass blocking, I feel like that's why he's in there before the half. People are like, why is Jerome Ford in there? We're going kind of a hurry up. Like, you're going to have your guy who you can trust a pass block in there in that situation. It sucks. I would imagine that to be slowly phased out. Like, a few more weeks as Quinshon's been here even longer. He might even still be getting in football shape a little bit. Like, I would imagine, like, obviously he was working out before he signed, but football shape is different than just like running hills and doing cardio, like getting hit and all that good stuff. He's still getting into, like, he's still in his preseason. This was his 4th game.
And he's looked better every week.
Well,
yes,
he's looked better. And the thing is,
mode.
I mean, 23 carries today. What was it last week? 18 or 21 or something? Then it was like 18 the week. Like, at some point, we do need to talk about, like, are we going to put too much on this guy? Is he going to wear down as the season goes on? I mean, and that's why he's not in there sometimes too. Whenever people get mad about situational stuff, but the guy probably already had 20 carries at this point. Maybe it's a lot. It's a lot.
I thought that today, like early, like second quarter, and he got like 6 carries in a row or something. And I was like,
yeah,
are we going to get this guy killed?
Yeah.
Because we don't have anybody else that we can give the ball to do anything. Like, we need Dylan Sampson to kind of figure out some of the stuff they need him to figure out, because we need that 1-2 punch, or Quinshon's not going to be here past his rookie contract because we're going to run him to death. It's going to be Zeke Elliott.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how great Zeke was. And then it just, like, all of a sudden the 10,000 hits he took over the previous 3-4 years, all of a sudden all showed up at once. I don't want that to happen to Quinshon. We kind of need that. We need one of these other backs to step up and kind of be a guy that we can rely on to get us a yard. Like, we talked about it. No other running back on our team would have got us that 4th and 1. There was nothing there, and Quinshon Judkins got it all by himself. No other running back would have got that. And so we need somebody else to step up, because, like you said, like I thought the same thing, and it wasn't 4th quarter. It was middle of the 2nd quarter. And I was like, oh, man, I hope we don't kill this kid.
Mm-hmm.
I could be really wrong, but I believe Ford picked up a 4th and 1, man, in the 2nd quarter, because I was absolutely beside myself.
Was it 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1? I can't remember.
I don't know. I thought it was 4th and 1, bro, but he picked it up, and I was just like, okay.
I remember which one you're talking about.
All right.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, we're gonna get the guy murdered if we don't get something else around him. And like you said, people are, why isn't he can't play every down, and he can't run the ball every play. Like, at some point, somebody else has to step up in that position and give the guy a little bit of a break. We don't want him to get 25 to 30 carries a game. At least, like, I mean, it might be fun. And
every now and again, when it calls for that kind of thing, yeah. I mean, you do that to win a game. That should not be your game plan.
Correct. Right. Like, if there's a game where you're wearing him down and he's in a zone, and it's like, you got to have it, we're going to give you 7 extra carries this game because we're icing this out in the 4th quarter and they can't stop you. But you like you said, you can't come into the game going, Quinshon's getting 25 plus touches,
right?
In between the tackles. Like, he's not going to last for a season.
With a missed offseason, basically.
In a bad offensive line.
Right.
Where he's just getting pummeled, but as soon as he touches the ball.
Can we talk about, like, just how impressive he is in this rookie running back class, which was filled with studs, and it was a great running back class and all that kind of stuff. You've got the guys in the first round like Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton, and then there was Quinshon and Travion Henderson, some of these other guys. Then, like, he's out producing them, and he missed a game, and he's got the worst offensive line out of any of them, and defenses know we're going to run the ball, like, because we can't throw it very well, and he's still making it happen. I'm very impressed with what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. He's emerging. He's emerging as an elite young talent. at the
Yeah.
running back.
Schittsburg going to beat the crap out of them. If Wentz was able to dice up this D, A-Rod will have a 400-yard passing game. The lack of pressure on Carson Wentz today was worrisome. I will say this: it's a division game with Pittsburgh. Like, obviously, we'll probably lose, but I expect it to be like a tough game. Like, I expect it to be low scoring. I'm sure it'll come down to like a turnover. We'll turn the ball over late and lose by 3. I'm just calling it now. But no, it's like you said, the defense kind of sleptwalk in the first quarter, and then even for the game, they averaged 4.2 yards per carry.
Yeah.
They just didn't attempt to run it quite as much. They were throwing the ball because they were starting to throw the ball over the field in the fourth quarter, but they ran the ball right down our throats. If they would have ran the ball 35 times, I mean, they would have ran for 150 yards against us.
Think about this too. I told Josh, I'm like, the half is ending, and I'm going, Max Brosmer or something like that is getting ready to come in. I don't even know if I said his name right, but then, you have Carson Wentz coming out with a banged up shoulder, and he diced us up.
We couldn't tackle him. Like, even if we got close, he'd spin move or something. Like,
Mhm.
we ended up getting to him twice there in the second half, but it was just not the dominant defensive performance I was expecting. And again, you only gave up 21 points. You got to score more than 17 if you want to win games. But like, man, you had the chance to win. Like, we've heard Miles talk about it. Like, I want that pressure. I want to be on the field at the chance to, like, you had your moment. You had your moment to be on the field to ice the game, and you let them go just right down. Like, it was like they were going on air.
I told Josh, I was like, if you would have told me Gabriel would have had 2 touchdowns and no picks, Quinshawn goes crazy, and then the defense forces 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
Your guess would be, yeah, we probably won this game, like maybe decisively, unless it's a weird shootout. Like, all the stats were in our favor except for penalties. Penalties were bad.
Let me up it even more for you. If I told you Dylan had 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, Quinshawn rushed for 100 yards or had 100 all-purpose yards, whatever it was, we had a lead with 2.5 minutes to go with the defense on the field, and they had to go 80 yards. I guarantee you, everybody on this show and everybody watching would have said, "Oh, that's a Browns win."
And here we go again. We can reference back to that Jets game, the famous Jets game from a few years ago when it was up 2 scores under 2 minutes ago. They had no timeouts left.
Yeah, we were winning by 13.
Chubb ran it in.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only time he ever did, he always used to just go out of bounds like at the 1.
Or slide,
like the Texans,
yeah.
He scored that one.
But do we have one more voicemail?
Yeah, I got Stacy here.
Well, that was a tough loss for sure. I think what made it so tough was the fact that we were in it up until the last second. So, anyways, I think the biggest thing I have to say about this game is, what is it with Browns quarterbacks and us not being able to throw the ball more than 10, 15 yards? Like, it seems like we're the only team whose quarterback cannot throw the ball down the field. Like, I just don't understand. And maybe it's because we have no offensive line, or maybe it's because we have no receivers. I mean, I'm sure it's a combination of the two, but I just don't understand. I mean, we have at least somewhat competent receivers, like Isaiah Bond. I think he's a good receiver. Like, they're going to tell me that with his speed, you can't get him open down the field. Even with Jerry drafts Judy, like, you can't get him open. I don't know. This team and this offense is just frustrating, and like I said, is it the offensive line? Is it the receivers? Or, I mean, is it time to look at the coaching, I don't know. What do you guys think?
So as far as like passing downfield, it's been a long time. Like 2023 Joe Flacco, and there was a lot of things working in our favor. You had an elite number 1 wide receiver in Amari Cooper, and you had a guy that was able to chuck it. He regressed to that point this year. The problem is, we said it a million times, there's no deep threat. There's no guy that can take the top off the defense. So everything's short. Everything's just real vanilla.
And everybody has to be wide open because we don't have a guy on the team where, like, he's got a step, you throw it to him. You know what I mean? Like, hey, they're right on top. he's covered, but this guy's just better than everybody. So I throw it up, let him go high. David Njoku is probably the closest thing we have to that in the red zone. We don't have, like, I think Isaiah Bond can be really nice, but he's not a number one. You know what I mean? Like we don't have a number one. Like, what's the biggest difference in this offense between now and 2023? You just said it, Amari Cooper. Oh, like look how much just having one guy that can beat man-to-man coverage does for your team. We just had one. And then look how much he opens up everything else because of that. Like that is why, like, yes, I want the offense to get more creative. I wouldn't even mind if they brought in another guy to call plays that's not Ken Dorsey and let Kevin just be the CEO head coach. I've talked about that. But to say like that this offense can't put up points or at least be above average, we had one quarterback who was off the couch but could still throw it a little bit, and we had one wide receiver, and this offense put up 30 points a game and 300 yards passing every single game. Like, and we just don't have one. Jerry Jeudy's not good.
No.
His entire career, he has not been good. And he had a 5-game stretch last year with Jameis Winston, where he was good, and everything before that and everything after that was bad. And he still led the league in drops last year. Like, we just need one. Gage Tucker in the Discord has been all year. First 4 picks next year needs to be 2 wide receivers, 2 offensive linemen. And you have to hit on them because it's a players league, man. Like, you got to have players, and it's bad. And if Jerry Jeudy does get open, and people were saying the throw to Jerry Jeudy early was low. Well, it had to be low because if he hits him in stride in the chest, the safety's going to decapitate him. It was like in the perfect spot. You kept him safe. It's a first down, and he didn't even get his hands on it. It literally went right through his arms and hit him in the chest and fell to the ground. You're a professional wide receiver.
That is an easy catch for who is supposed to be your top wide receiver. That's an easy catch. Should have been.
Yes. And that's why, that's why I give the scheme and stuff like that, we'll say, a pass, even though I want it to get more creative. But this offense we've seen be a top 15 offense. If we had a top 15 offense to go with this defense, how many wins would we have right now? We just need something. And we can't throw downfield too, Stacy, because like we mentioned, we can't block anybody at all. Not for we can't do a 5-step drop, a 7-step drop to let a play develop. Leviston is terrible. Terrible. Jack Conklin just got back this week. We might as well just had ghost tackles. We might as well just told the defensive ends for the other team like it was a 2-hand tap, and you had to count to 5 before you can blitz. They only had to count to 2. Because we might as well not even put players out there. That's how bad the tackle situation has been. And I saw Quincy after Joe's last game last week. He was he watched the game, the all 22, and he was like, Joe's just bad too. There are people open. There's things open. Joe just wasn't hitting them, wasn't throwing to them, can't move, all that good stuff. That's why I don't want to say it's I'm patient with the scheme and the coaching because we don't have any players to put it in. Everybody wants to talk about how great the Vikings were at scheming. Scheming is a lot easier with an all-pro wide receiver. He's arguably the best wide receiver in football, and a top 5 tight end, and probably the best number 2 wide receiver in football in Jordan Addison, or at least a top 5 number 2 receiver. Scheming gets a lot easier in that situation.
What do you guys think about Cam Robinson? I know he came in for
They platooned
a
him.
series.
He had what? Did he have a penalty or a hold
2
or
penalties.
something?
2 penalties. I think 2 false starts.
I'm
But
not
they
going to
said
be
it
too
was
hard on the guy.
Yeah, they said it was more of he wasn't used to the snap count and stuff like that. And
He hasn't
we
even been
just
here a
got him.
week.
Yeah, we just got him in. But
if he wasn't ready, we probably shouldn't have been sticking him in there, honestly.
Right.
But Leviston was
bad. Yeah.
When they
It's
said
at the
he was
point-
starting today, I was kind of shocked.
It was at the point.
Are you gonna go
where-
to Lucas? It's,
Well, he wasn't even
that's-
active. He was so freaking
Oh
bad.
shit! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even know.
Yeah. Him and, of course, Zinter wasn't active again. I'm like, how bad do you have to be on this offensive line to not be active?
That healthy scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This guy says, I'm smoking crack, saying this offense could be top 15 in the league. Top 15, I feel like it's been top 15 twice when we had Baker Mayfield and competent Joe Flacco. It's been top 15 both those years. So I'm not smoking crack, actually. I'm using historical context. Let's see. The coaching is an issue, idiot. Okay, we'll see. Let's see. Whatever. I don't care. But do we have any other, or is that the last voicemail?
That was the last one. I mean, Andy did send a second one in, kind of reiterating his point on the coaching, but if we don't want to go down that path again, we don't need to.
Again, I've been on here talking about how I want the offense to get more creative last season, but there's a thing called like context and looking at things. When you build a team around a guy who doesn't play anymore, then you're still trying to get out of that, like under the hole from that. Like, this isn't going to be the year that I butchered the coaching staff. Like, I thought we have one more win than I thought we were going to get all year. So, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just realistic in terms of what the expectations were for this season.
Can I ask you like a legitimate question? How many years do you expect it to take to get out from under the Deshaun Watson trade? Because I feel like a lot of people blame everything on that. So, like, when is a good time to start looking at other parties?
Well, one, you're still solidly under it right now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how long is it going to take till we have 3 first-round picks again?
No, I think if we have another hit it out of the park draft next year, like or free agency, and like we need a left tackle, we need a right tackle. You know, like you can it's just like how it's tough to judge a quarterback when doesn't have any players. It's tough to judge a coach when he doesn't have any players.
I get that, but and then like the free agency thing. See, this I guess this is where like my concern with this whole losing culture and being 4-20 and sucking ass every week. What free agents want to come here? If they look at your record and they say you guys have won 5 games in the last 2 years, I'm not coming there.
I still think that they are respected around the league.
Another 4-13 season might not.
Everybody knows what Deshaun set this franchise back 5 years probably. We talked about we built the team around the guy, and then he couldn't play. We gave him all this money. We said we don't need any top 10 wide receivers. We don't need any of this stuff. We don't need the world's best offensive line because we're going to have an all-pro quarterback who makes everybody around him better. He doesn't need the best line because he's going to be able to run around and make plays. He doesn't need the best receivers. Look, he led the league in receiving with what was the guy's name in Houston? Will Fuller as his number one. And then we brought him here, and he couldn't figure out how to throw the ball not in the ground. And then he doesn't play ever. And we've been forced to play with backup quarterbacks and backup talent since then. We have yet to be able to put out a competent starting quarterback. Go back and look at our quarterbacks since Deshaun's been here. PJ Walker, Case Keenum, Jacoby Brissett, now rookie Dylan Gabriel, 41-year-old Joe Flacco. No coach is winning with those quarterbacks. None. And then you pair those guys with Jerry Jeudy as your one. There isn't a coach that's winning with that.
Okay,
so
I
now,
just like I just want to.
So now I'm saying, now like if we come out next year, and like we're expected to be good. Let's say we add 3 new offensive linemen in free agency. We draft Carnell Tate, Dylan Gabriel, or Shador has an entire offseason to learn the offense, and we come out next year, and also we don't start the season with the absolute hardest schedule anybody's had in recent memory. And we're in the offense still looks like it's stuck in mud. Okay, then we can talk. I'm just not going to hold it against the guy who, up until his team was destroyed by the worst trade in the history of football, was a winning football coach. Was a 2-time coach of the year. And then they completely tanked their roster for one guy. And then Kevin's got to sit up there in front of everybody and answer for how bad the offensive football team is. We watched this guy had a better winning percentage than Kyle Shanahan did at the start of last season. But Kyle Shanahan gets to coach 6 All-Pros on the offensive side of the ball, and we have Jamari Thrash catching passes for us. So that's where I'm like, until it's a level playing field and with some talent on the offensive side of the ball, I don't believe a coach in this league would be good with this offensive talent, because I watch other coaches in this league be bad with way better talent. Zach Taylor can't score points. He has Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, and they can't score points in Cincinnati. So it's just like it's hard to evaluate that. You watch the guy be a winning coach and make the playoffs for you twice. Roster gets tanked. Tell me the coach that would win with the quarterbacks and the offensive talent we've had the last year and a half.
Well, and I think to your, like you mentioned Shanahan, I think to a lot of people watch the Thursday night game and think, man, nobody had the 49ers with a chance to win that game against a good divisional opponent on the road. You have none of your guys on offense. None of them. Your star pass rushers out. Your quarterback's out. Nobody.
Still have Christian McCaffrey.
We still had Quinshawn Judkins. They still won the game.
Way better than Quinshawn. They lost.
I'm just saying, you had one playmaker. Okay, whoop-de-doo. They still won the game.
And their backup quarterback was a former first-round draft pick. But
so now you're a
again,
Mac Jones guy.
They just lost the week before at home to Jacksonville. So, like, talk about the recency bias. And they're an extra point away. If the Rams don't miss an extra point, they lose. And we're not talking about how he went on the road to win a game. The Rams lost that game more than the Niners won it.
I'm just saying, man.
We
lose.
Shanahan.
We lose way more. We're 4-20.
I get that. But there's reasons to being 4-20, and most of it is we don't have good football players on our team. So if
we
you
have very good football players on the defense.
Yes. So if you
people
want to
keep
fire
saying
Andrew
like
Berry,
our team sucks, like no, we haven't. Well, before today was the number 1 defense in the league. We have good players. People say we don't have any money. We paid everybody we wanted to pay. We've extended everybody. We gave Myles Garrett the highest non-quarterback contract in NFL. Like, we have money.
The offense was the highest paid offense last year in the league.
You know, I just whether you don't want to put the blame on Kevin or Abe, people making decisions within this organization have effed up the offensive side of the ball. Those people have made these decisions, and I'm mad about it.
it all goes back to the Deshaun trade.
Okay, but
Like
still, even if Deshaun were still playing for us, this would be our offensive line. This would be our wide receiver.
But he was
core.
supposed to be good enough to overcome that stuff.
Okay.
He conned us, essentially, and set the franchise back. Remember when people said, if he's not good, your franchise is going to be set back for years? And we all said, no, we'll be fine. We were wrong. Because turns out when you deplete the roster to build around a guy who can't play, you're going to be screwed until you can get out from underneath all that money. So,
and that goes back to why I just don't think it's a year away. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I'm not saying this because I want it to be true. I'm just like, I'm looking at the situation going, I don't know.
we're not that. We got pieces, man. We got pieces. That's why I'm not that frustrated with this year.
But you just said we don't. You said the whole thing's depleted. No, it sucks. Like, there's nobody good.
You have Fannin, you have Judkins, but they're rookies, and there's only 3 or 4 of them. It's 11 guys on offense, and it starts up front. And it
like,
starts
think
up
about
front.
the years that we had, like, I don't know. I mean, we had like young David and Chubb and Baker and some of those guys, and
we
it still
won a
didn't
playoff
work.
game.
I know. I'm saying, but it didn't. Like, it didn't.
So what do you mean
last.
it didn't work?
Because we didn't do anything.
They got hurt. No, they got hurt, and then we don't have them anymore. That's my point. We had a young, healthy Baker one season, won a playoff game in Pittsburgh, and we had a revitalized Joe Flacco for a season, went to the playoffs. Look at the years we've been bad, and tell me, do you think we could have won games with anybody else? Do you think? Be honest. If we had a different head coach right now, would the Browns have more than one win?
Right. Oh, with this team right
Yes.
now, I don't know. I mean, like I said,
No.
you don't think?
No. No way. Not maybe if we
Not
played
against that Bengals defense week 1. I mean, the thing that's pissing me off too is how bad the Ravens are, and we got smoked. We scored 3 legitimate points against them, and they're giving it up to everybody.
Maybe if we didn't have such a tough schedule to start the season too, like it would have been nice to not start with like Bengals, Ravens, Packers, Lions, Vikings. Like we're playing all playoff teams from a year ago, essentially, to start.
No,
the
not
season.
the Bengals and Ravens. Well, from a year ago, okay. But I'm saying like now, this is what's tough about schedule watching too. At the beginning of the season, now you're 5 games in. You're like, well, the Ravens are 1-4. The Bengals are what 2-3. Like they're not. These aren't good teams this year. Just, I don't know. It just sucks.
But like that's my point right there. So, but like you agreed like if we had a different head coach, arguably probably wouldn't have any more wins.
Oh, I think we could. I think we definitely we would have had a better chance of beating the Bengals. I think, and I know you don't agree. I don't believe in Kevin's offense anymore. I just don't.
Okay. I just think you're making that decision off. I don't know what your logic is.
4-20.
Yes, but you can't just box score watch.
That's not box score watching. That's the record.
You have to look at like the pieces you're putting in the offense.
Okay, I'm just saying. I think a better head coach, better offensive system could get you more than 4 wins in 2 years.
I just don't. Okay. I mean, that's fine. But I watched a guy who's coaching pretty well last year not be able to coach with the quarterback we expected Kevin to win with the first 4 weeks, with way better skill positions around him. That coach is going to win Coach of the Year this year probably, and he couldn't score or win and was almost fired for playing the same quarterback we're all shitting on Kevin for not being able to score with. And he still had
I don't even know who you're talking
Shane
about.
Steichen, and they still had Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, their offensive line, all that stuff, and they couldn't score with Joe Flacco. And then that's the coach that now we want Kevin to be able to put up points with that same player that Steichen couldn't score with all those weapons. It's just not realistic.
Well, let's
So
see how
it's-
things go with Dylan, and then if they don't work out, we'll see how things go with Shador.
We're going long here, but as much as Dylan like played okay today, I want to see Shador eventually because I want to see us push the ball down the field. I thought Dylan was solid, but I definitely thought you could tell us like his throwing angle and stuff. Sometimes I think his height is an issue. They say they don't see it, but you definitely see it in some of those
On
balls.
the downfield throws,
Yes.
the high
Like, I
misses.
wanna-
High misses.
Yes, because he's got to like release the ball like on. I don't know.
Did you guys see the end of the game when he hugged Carson Wentz?
Oh,
Yes. Whoa.
Bro,
That's
it looked like he was
shocking.
meeting a Make-A-Wish kid or something.
Oh my Lord, bro. Jeez.
He was. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, Dylan to me looked like a serviceable guy who can come in and run an offense for you. There wasn't much wow factor there. Not much difference maker from what I could see. Again, it was the first game against a very good defensive coordinator in a top 3 pass defense, I think you guys said. So I'm not gonna. Let's see how he looks going forward, but I'm ready to see Shador out there with like a little bit of size, moving a little bit, pushing the ball down the field, and see what we can do.
With that shitty offensive line.
So why I say
and that
that,
rock
I
and
probably
roll
just
wide receiver core.
I just probably want to see Shador running around backwards, trying to not get murdered. But maybe he'll throw it deep a couple times. But all right, we'll wrap this thing up. We appreciate everybody. 243 of you guys in here watching us. We appreciate that. Imagine how good this podcast would do if the Browns were better. Maybe we'll know one day.
5
we appreciate-
years from now.
Hang on. We got Barry balled out in the draft. Now he needs to find a new head coach and OC that can win with 12. Watching Shador was fun. It was fun for one of those games. I will appreciate that. And Barry did ball out in the draft. It's like the draft is what's saving him right now in terms of like, do you move on from the guy 1 year after having not just his best draft, honestly, one of the better drafts any GM's had probably in the last 4 to 5 years in the league. So like, that's what's saving him.
Well, we talked about it. It's like he finally took the football guys, the guys that we would have all picked. I mean, that's the thing with this draft is like, it wasn't like a I'm smarter than you type of draft. Like those are the guys I would have picked. Those are the guys you would have picked.
I know we're wrapping up right before we got out of here in the Discord. Somebody was talking about when are we going to admit we should have drafted Ted McMillan, and he might just be like a little bit sarcastic, but I just want to say it's tough to argue with who we drafted because of how good they've all played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was just too many holes to fill in one. Like, you just weren't going to fill every single hole you needed in one draft. But I can't complain with Mason Graham, Quinshaw Judkins, Carson Schweschinger.
Harold Fannin. Did he cut out for you too, Justin?
Yeah, he's gone. I thought my
Okay.
computer shut off.
Mid
Well, this is a good place to wrap the show up.
I suppose so. We'll see if he. Wow, he's really frozen.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
man.
really deep in thought.
Gotta get that Wi-Fi speed checked, brother. All right, we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning in. I don't know if Blake's coming back. We appreciate everybody being here. We'll be back later this week. We'll preview the Steelers game, then we'll be back Sunday night for the Steelers recap. It's going to be fun, but, at least we get to see what Dylan Gabriel can do after one game under his belt. It was encouraging. I don't think he looked too bad.
No,
So.
better than last week. At
Way
the
better.
quarterback position.
Way better. So, nope, he's gone. Okay.
All right.
All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll